Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're not just looking at stats sheets. We're trying to find that hairline crack.
Exactly. That tiny difference that decides a fight at the highest levels.
We're diving straight into the latest combat data from the Infusion battle arena. Specifically, we're dissecting the results for 4 really key characters featured back in Episode 7.
Right. We've got Batgirl Oracle, Iron Fist, Namor the Sub-Mariner, and Thor. Perfect spread, actually.
Yeah, it covers street tier, enhanced, superhuman, and all the way up to metahuman.
And the mission is to analyze 5 key matchups for each one. We're looking at the win percentages, sure, but more importantly, why those percentages shake out the way they do based on those detailed combat criteria.
Okay, but before we get into the nitty-gritty, we should probably quickly touch on that recent tweak to the combat proficiency tiers.
Yeah, good call. It's important context, especially since people really latch onto terms like phenomenal or remarkable.
So what's the bottom line for you, the listener?
The bottom line is, nothing fundamental has changed regarding the outcomes. All the percentages, all the results we're about to talk about, still totally valid.
This is more of a language cleanup.
Pretty much. Just refining the descriptions, making the tone consistent across the tiers. The underlying performance benchmarks, they're the same.
Okay, but let's quickly define the scale now, because it helps frame everything. There's a new official starting point, right? Baseline.
Exactly. Baseline is basically your average untrained person. No real combat skills, average physical condition. It helps clarify just how huge the gap is between, well, normal and even minimally trained.
And at the other extreme, unprecedented.
Yeah, unprecedented is now purely conceptual. Think theoretical perfection, mythic levels of skill, stuff that's basically impossible to consistently measure in the arena. It's a benchmark, not really an active tier for fighters.
Gotcha. So baseline is 0, unprecedented is like infinity maybe.
Yeah.
And the fighters we're looking at operate way, way above that baseline.
Absolutely. Miles above. But even these elite fighters hit limits. The data shows that clearly.
Okay, let's unpack it then. Starting down in the street tier with the master analyst herself, Batgirl Oracle.
Barbara Gordon. She's like the epitome of street tier potential. No superpowers, nothing inherently superhuman. It's all agility, brilliant intellect, and tactical genius.
If anyone can outthink a physical disadvantage, it's her.
You'd think so, and she does, sometimes. But her data, it shows these really frustratingly close losses.
Like against Black Widow, Natasha gets 55%, Babs 45%. It's so close.
That 5%. It matters over hundreds of simulated encounters. Widow wins just 5 more times out of 100, and it boils down to Natasha's enhanced conditioning and her lethal efficiency. She doesn't hesitate.
So in a longer fight, that slight stamina edge just counts.
It adds up. Batgirl's technique is phenomenal, but Widow's physical resilience gives her that tiny bit more staying power.
Okay, similar story against Daredevil then. Also 55% to 45% loss for Babs. I find this one interesting. Babs is arguably the better pure strategist.
She might be. But Matt's advantage isn't strategy, it's sensory, his radar sense. That's incredibly hard for Babs to counter directly.
Because she can predict moves, but she can't really hide them from him.
Exactly. He knows where she is, what she's doing, instantaneously. That plus his relentless combat flow. It just disrupts her ability to perfectly execute her plans often enough to give him the edge.
Right, okay. But then look at Elektra. The gap widens. Elektra takes it 60% to Babs 40%. Why the bigger jump there?
That shows the limit of even brilliant defense against pure, focused, lethal offense. Elektra's precision, her ferocity, it's geared towards ending the fight now.
So Babs can defend against skill, but defending against that kind of killing intent is different.
It's more taxing. Elektra's speed, combined with that relentless lethality, just overwhelms Barbara's defensive mastery more consistently over time.
But Babs does get a win here. She
Yeah.
takes the majority against Huntress, 55% to 45%.
And that win highlights Batgirl's strengths: discipline, control. Huntress is aggressive, a great shot, but Babs' refined timing and defensive skills let her consistently outmaneuver Helena's raw aggression.
It's technique over brute force, essentially.
Precisely. Babs can anticipate and counter Huntress in a way Huntress struggles to adapt to.
And the last one, the Bat Family Showdown. Nightwing wins 55% to 45%. Man, that must be razor thin every time.
Oh, it's incredibly close. Probably the tightest fight in her set. Dick just has slightly better physical conditioning.
Plus maybe broader field experience.
Yeah, that too. Outside the sort of controlled environment of Gotham sometimes, it gives him that tiny physical edge. They're almost equals, but his body holds up just a fraction better, enough to win that extra 5%.
So the big picture for Batgirl, Her skill is top-tier, phenomenal level, enough to hang with almost anyone. But if they have even a small physical or sensory advantage...
That becomes the decider. It's the reality of the street tier ceiling against opponents touching that next level.
Okay, let's climb that ladder. Moving up to the enhanced tier with Iron Fist, Danny Rand.
Danny's advantage isn't just peak human, it's that focused chi, martial arts precision amplified.
And that chi seems to be the difference maker in fights Babs might lose. He beats Bronze Tiger 55% to 45%.
Right. Danny's discipline, his mastery of chi, it boosts his striking power, his speed, his resilience. Bronze Tiger is incredibly skilled, fierce even, but the chi gives Danny that internal edge.
It's the force multiplier.
Exactly, against a near peer who doesn't have it.
Okay, now this is interesting. He also beats Elektra 55% to 45%. But hang on, Elektra beat Babs 60-40. If Danny has the Iron Fist, shouldn't his win over Elektra be more decisive than just 5-5-45?
That's a great question, and it highlights something important. Elektra is still incredibly fast, incredibly precise, and utterly lethal.
So the chi helps, but doesn't make him invulnerable to her.
Not at all. The Iron Fist gives him durability and hitting power, yeah, but Elektra is constantly trying to break his focus, find an opening. Danny needs perfect concentration to channel that chi effectively against someone like her.
So the 55% win shows the chi works, but it's a struggle for him to maintain it against her pressure.
Exactly. It requires immense mental discipline on his part to keep that slight edge. It's not an easy win.
Makes sense. Now, against a ranged fighter like Hawkeye, the dynamic shifts. Iron Fist wins 60% to 40%.
Yeah, once Danny closes that gap, the fight changes dramatically. His chi-enhanced speed and close combat skills just overwhelm Clint's arrows, even the tricky ones.
Hawkeye's good, but not that good up close against a fist glowing with energy.
Pretty much. There's a limit to how fast you can knock an arrow when that's coming at you.
But even chi has its limits against inherent superpowers, right? Spider-Man beats him 55% to 45%.
And the reason is almost always the same against Spidey, the spider sense.
Ah, the ultimate early warning system.
It completely neutralizes Danny's timing advantage. Iron Fist relies on landing precise, powerful strikes, but Peter anticipates them, dodges them. It leaves Danny fighting someone faster, more agile, and almost impossible to hit cleanly with a focused chi blow.
Okay, last one for Danny. He edges out Wildcat 55% to 45%.
And again, it's the chi plus the broader martial arts toolkit against Wildcat's sheer toughness and boxing skill. Ted Grant has legendary grit, but Danny has the focus power to eventually break through that defense.
So for Iron Fist, the takeaway is that focused chi provides that consistent edge over pure skill, locking him in as a top-enhanced fighter. It bridges the gap Babs couldn't quite cross.
Definitely. It's the tool that turns those 45% losses into 55% wins.
All right, time for a big jump. Leaving Enhanced behind, heading straight into superhuman tier territory with Namor.
The Sub-Mariner. Yeah, he's all about that raw Atlantean power, strength, ferocity, just overwhelming force. He's the powerhouse brawler.
But his results. They kind of show what happens when raw power meets discipline, huh? He loses most of these top-tier fights.
He does. It's a tough set for him. Let's start with his Atlantean rival, Aquaman. Arthur wins 55% to Namor's 45%.
Even though Namor might be the slightly stronger brawler.
Maybe in pure lifting strength, but Aquaman brings more to the table. Better tactics, control over sea life, which can be a huge factor, and crucially, the Trident of Poseidon.
Ah, the magic weapon, piercing damage.
Piercing, magical. It bypasses durability in a way punches don't. Add Arthur's discipline, and it gives him that consistent, narrow edge over Namor's fury.
Okay, the losses get steeper against the real heavy hitters. Superman beats him 65% to 35%. That's a wide margin.
It's a difference in scale and control. Namor's strong, but Superman operates on another level of speed, strength application, and just restraint. Namor's rage makes him powerful, but also predictable.
Like a hurricane versus precision bombing.
Something like that. Superman can usually dictate the terms of the fight.
And same margin against Thor, too. 65% to 35%.
Similar reasons, different toolkit. Thor brings Mjolnir, centuries more experience, weather control, lightning. Namor is tough, incredibly durable, but Thor just has too many ways to inflict massive damage from too many angles.
And Wonder Woman. She takes a solid 60% majority.
Diana's win comes down to skill and equipment. Her divine training makes her one of the best fighters, period. And her bracelets, her sword, their magic, they counter raw strength and durability effectively.
So Namor's rage just bounces off her skill and magical defenses.
More often than not, yes. She fights with a focused, almost surgical precision he struggles to match.
Okay, but Namor does get a win in this tough lineup. He beats Black Panther 55% to 45%.
And this is where Namor's raw stats still matter. In close quarters, his superior strength, speed, and durability are just enough to overwhelm T'Challa's skill and tech.
Even with the vibranium suit.
The suit helps T'Challa survive and stay in the fight, minimizes the gap, but Namor just brings too much raw force, consistently, for Panther to overcome the majority of the time.
So looking at Namor overall,
Yeah.
it really shows the limits of just being the strongest guy in the room at the superhuman level, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If your opponent has superior tactics, magic, or just better control over their power, aggression alone isn't enough. It often becomes a liability.
Which leads us perfectly to our final fighter, the top-tier metahuman powerhouse, Thor.
The God of Thunder, divine heritage, Mjolnir's insane versatility, thousands of years of combat. He's packing a lot.
His opponents are basically a who's who of cosmic threats. But he handles Black Adam just barely, 55% to 45%.
That's a tough fight. Adam has immense magical power and ferocity, but Thor's own divine nature, plus Mjolnir's ability to absorb and redirect energy, manipulate weather. It gives him tactical options Adam lacks. That versatility earns him the slim majority.
He does better against mystical threats like Ghost Rider, winning 60% of the time.
Yeah, Thor's godly essence and Mjolnir give him resistance to things like Hellfire and the Penance Stare that would cripple others. He can endure Ghost Rider's unique offense and bring overwhelming cosmic power to bear.
Okay now, Power Girl, another Kryptonian-level opponent. Thor wins 55%. How does he deal with that speed and strength combo that gave Iron Fist trouble?
It's Mjolnir again, largely. It acts defensively, blocking hits, but also offensively from unexpected angles. Thor can direct it mentally.
So he can use the hammer to counter her speed blitzes.
And to create openings, lightning strikes, whirlwinds. It compensates for the raw speed difference just enough for Thor's own resilience and power to win out slightly more often.
Then we get to the big one.
Yeah.
Superman. The data says perfect stalemate, 50-50.
The ultimate deadlock. This is probably the most telling result in the whole Arena database.
Why is it so perfectly balanced?
It's Superman's consistent speed and power output versus Thor's magical versatility and Mjolnir's raw, sometimes unpredictable, destructive force. Neither can consistently overcome the other's core advantages.
So it literally comes down to the first move, the environment. Pure chance sometimes.
Pretty much. It's a true coin flip outcome over repeated trials.
But, and this is the kicker for Thor, just like it was for Namor. He faces Wonder Woman, and Diana wins. 55% for her.
Whoa.
Yeah, she stalemates Superman's equal, but she beats Thor more often than not. That says a lot.
It absolutely does. It hammers home that even at the metahuman tier, superior skill, discipline, and the right kind of assets trump even god-level power.
Diana's Amazon training, her magical gear, it's specifically suited to fighting powerful, even divine beings.
Exactly. She can bypass Thor's durability with her sword, deflect his energy with her bracelets, and tactically outmaneuver him. She fights smarter, and her tools are perfect for the job. It's enough for that narrow, crucial majority.
So pulling it all together across all four tiers, what's the big lesson here?
Well, down in street and enhanced, those tiny edges in proficiency conditioning or maybe a specific sense, that's what creates those 5-5-5-45 splits. It's about micro advantages.
But when you get to superhuman and metahuman,
It shifts. Raw power matters, but it hits a ceiling against specific counters. Chi, magic weapons, divine heritage, superior tactical minds, incredible discipline, those become the real deciding factors for winning the majority.
so for you listening, remember that consistency is everything in the arena. It's not about one lucky punch. It's about how these layers, proficiency, power, style, assets, stack up over time.
Which brings us back to that new baseline tier, that starting point. It raises a kind of sobering question, doesn't it?
too.
Well, if Batgirl, who's at the peak of street tier skill, phenomenal proficiency, needs every ounce of her intellect just to keep fights against slightly enhanced foes close,
Yeah.
what chance does that baseline warrior, the completely untrained civilian, actually have? Are they just irrelevant cannon fodder against anyone even rated as competent?
That's definitely something to think about. Where does raw potential end and actual capability begin? Good thought to leave folks with.